This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action, and you're listening to the Krypton Report.
Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast. I am Tyler, your host, the Superman of Blue, the Man of Tomorrow, and with me is my co-host James, the Superman of Red, the Man of Mystery, the Man of Steel himself, Cole. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
Not great. We are an all DC podcast. Oh, it's been a day. It's been a day.
All right.
You can find us on all of our social medias on X, Blue Sky, YouTube, Threads, Facebook. Just search for Krypton Report. We also offer a $1 a month Patreon. $1 gets you bonus episodes, commentaries, and other surprises. Just $1 a month keeps Krypton from exploding. And if you want to reach out to us via email, send us a message and we'll read it on air. Go to kryptonreportpod@gmail.com. Now let's get into today's episode because Tyler's fighting the depression. Work was tough, man.
Well,
Work was tough.
Yeah. You have a very tough job.
It's been extra special the past 2 weeks. But you know what today is, my friend? It is 1 month till Lanterns. 1 month.
1 month. That is awesome. I'm real excited.
So we got a little Lantern news. We got some posters, like singles. We got Jon Stewart just kind of standing there. It says Lanterns. Hal Jordan. Then we got one that says no evil shall escape their sight. We got, just these fun kind of posters for promo, which is cool. The rumor that as of this recording, the next trailer for Lanterns is set to release on July 17th. So that is a big rumor that's going around. It'd be nice to see a more big, powerful Lanterns trailer. And this is interesting. So Lanterns has a training headquarters at San Diego Comic-Con Experience. You had to reserve and get tickets. It is completely sold out for the Lanterns training.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I've been reading so much Green Lantern. It's ridiculous. I'm wearing my Green Lantern shirt right now.
Oh, nice.
So I'm excited for it. I really just trying to be optimistic and hopeful. I'm hoping we get another trailer. I dropped in the chat the other day that I'm hoping that maybe it's called Lanterns because we're going to experience other colors, other than Lantern Core. So it's not just Green Lanterns, it's Lanterns.
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
That's me being extremely optimistic.
I know in comics it took a long time before we got other colors, other Lantern cores, but I think if you're dealing with the Guardians, the immortal beings, I think there's probably been other Lanterns out there. At some point throughout history. I think they should kind of exist.
There's got to be something. And
I think if you were trapped, the idea of Parallax and Yellow being this, the big bad thing, you know what I mean? That could obviously still be a trapped or imprisoned type deal. And other things, and Yellow being one of their biggest foes.
Yeah, Lanterns are such...
Could be interesting.
Lanterns has such cool, amazing lore. I'm really hoping that the show explores a lot of it, and I really would like one more trailer and before the show because everything's been billed as teaser. You know, the first teaser, the second teaser. So
Right.
getting an actual like, oh, this is our trailer would be really nice.
Yeah, it would be.
I feel like they don't know what teasers are anymore. Like,
It's new generation of marketers, I guess.
you know, like how they'll do like the teaser, like build up for the trailer, and you're like, the trailer starts now, and you're like, okay, why did you just show me these quick scenes and everything? And then
Right.
so
Yeah, teasers used to be what, 30 seconds to a minute and get you hyped for the trailer that was coming, and then you get 1, 2, 3 trailers. Now it's like trailer 1 is your teaser trailer, and it's a full
yeah,
2.5, 3 minutes long.
what are you teasing me on? Like, do you remember? Like, do you remember the Dark Knight teaser trailer?
I mean, I would have to rewatch it, but
It was just the black where we just kept seeing blue light shining, and we were hearing voiceover of like Alfred and Bruce, and then it ends with the Joker's laugh, and then we pull out and you see that it's the bat symbol, and
Right.
I mean,
well,
think of
kind of
that.
like another teaser we'll probably discuss here shortly. That was a teaser.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's a
was.
teaser.
I mean, do you remember? What do you call it? We had the Man of Steel teaser
Mm-hmm.
where it was like all these
Just
random
the
weird shots with voice, and then you just see the clouds, and then you just see him shoot through it,
Yep.
and you're like, "Holy crap!"
I was
Um,
like, that looks amazing. And it
and you,
did. And it
yeah,
still does.
and you literally saw nothing. Yeah, and that's what we're talking about. So, yay us! All right, so the next piece of news that I can't get to because my mouse is frozen all of a sudden is that DC Films is setting out San Diego Comic Con. They're not going to have a panel or anything, which is crazy. That to me feels like that's where you would be able to like build up lanterns like in a month. You know, you could be like, oh, 1 month out, like we're at San Diego. Here's lanterns. You know, it's the one Comic Con before we get to Man of Tomorrow or Clayface.
Yeah. You got lanterns, you got Clayface, you got the animated shows. And I mean, yeah, they're probably by now maybe 50, like 60% complete shooting Man of Tomorrow or something. It was
Yeah.
40% like a month, like a few weeks ago. So yeah, I just feel like they've got a lot there. And I mean, Comic-Con seems like, especially with multiple projects, pretty close.
I just feel like it. I mean, maybe Comic Con's slowly getting back to being more about the comics and stuff because, like, there for a while, like, it was the biggest hype for the upcoming movies, and we were so excited. And now, all the studios keep pulling out. Like, Disney has their thing, and where Marvel goes, and we don't have a fandom any good. With that first year of fandom was amazing.
Yes, sir.
And so they're not going to be at Comic Con, so that's a bummer.
Well, like you said, they have multiple movie and cinema cons and things like that now. You know, for a little while, the biggest thing was San Diego Comic Con.
Yeah, it really is a bummer.
Well, I mean, you know, the movie landscape itself has changed for box office. You know what I mean? Like, not every other picture is $1 billion. I think people need to adjust expectations back down to, you know, $500-600 million movies were huge hits. Remember?
Yeah,
You
but
know?
also Also, that's almost what they have to make to be profitable or be, break even anymore. So,
Yeah, I think the revenue stream with streaming services and digital releases, things like that, I think that has definitely changed how they view the, income. It's not all based off of the short
well,
time in the box office anymore.
so I learned something today. And I don't have all the details, but if say I wanted to show a movie like in a public place, I have to be able to show a movie in a public forum, I have to go through like Shank and acquire the rights to show the film. And we were talking about it today, some people and I learned that schools are now required to get special Shank subscriptions and can only show movies that they provide that they're getting the license for, because they're cracking down on schools like that a teacher would like log into their Netflix or something like that and then show a movie from their account. So, and I'm like, interesting. Is that a way they're getting revenue? Because I'm like, how did it work back in our day when they would just like grab the VHS tape and pop it in? Like,
Right.
I'm like, okay. So,
Yeah,
now
that's interesting.
my mouse is being stupid and not working. I just saw this yesterday and I didn't get to really look in, but I guess it's from Audible. There will be a Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow full audiobook, full cast narration from Penguin Random House Audio. So I was like, okay, that's coming sometime in the future. That's neat, but it goes back to how we used to have the DC podcast thing that we would, high volume that, stopped, that did all these great stories. And then we get these random, ones that I, purchased cause I'm an idiot. But
Well, like All Star and Kingdom Come.
yeah, like All Star and Kingdom Come. I have Kingdom Come and All Star.
A couple of them.
That's two of them. I mean, they were both fun listens and stuff, but All Star was interesting, but I don't know if I'll ever like really revisit them again. So, all right, let's see here. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, unabridged, audiobook, narrated by Marcela Lynn Lopez. Let's see, September 1st. Let's see if there's cat. Here we go. Amelia Tyler as Ruthie. John Bailey as Krem and Crypto. Mark Thompson as Zor-El. Marcella Lynn Pope as Supergirl. Tan Keen Hu as Ruthie's mother. Interesting. Well, interesting. I'm wondering how it'll be. Will I buy it? Probably because I'm a sap. And I always fall for this stuff. And I'd be curious to see how it plays out. But I kind of wish they had promoted it more and heavier and let everyone know about it. Hey, Jania. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Juju. So I just learned yesterday that they're releasing an audiobook full cast edition recording of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
Oh, that's really cool.
So what do you think? Interested to listen, to hear?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, there we go. Spoken from the great one's mouth herself. So, but
All right. Well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Jania's in. I guess I have to be too.
Yep. Now you got to buy it.
So, two other people are rumored to be joining Man of Tomorrow. The greatest announcement ever that we've been looking forward to is that White Rabbit is supposed to be back in Man of Tomorrow. You know, the character that was just made for a camel toe joke in Peacemaker, that wonderful, great Batman villain.
Yes, sir.
Which, if White Rabbit's in Man of Tomorrow, I hope it's just some small joke. It's like kind of how Peacemaker was in Superman, just on the screen in the background. That I'd be okay with that. But no, seriously, the one we're all pumped for is Blue Beetle is supposed to return in Man of Tomorrow, played by Zolo.
Maradonia.
And that, I think, is great. I was hoping that Blue sorry, I can't talk, was going to make an appearance like on Peacemaker or something, like in the background or just referenced. But I think tonally, like Solomon and I have both really been in the mood to watch Blue Beetle again.
Me too.
And, he really likes that movie. And the irony was, the day that it was announced, I came home and Solomon was wearing his Blue Beetle t-shirt, having no idea that was announced.
Oh, I bet you were excited to tell him, especially after you saw that.
That's why I took his picture and I dropped it in the group chat. I was like, look what my son's wearing.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And I just think Blue Beetle deserves that. I think some people said, I've seen, if they had held off and dropped Blue Beetle like 2024 or dropped Blue Beetle after Superman in 2025 or early 2025, it would have done a lot better and wouldn't have been kind of lost, because it got kind of dumped at the end of 2023 when we already had the other disappointing films of The Flash.
Well, yeah, and then they're just like, yeah, we're gonna do these, we're gonna drop these movies, and then
Reboot.
There's a whole new set of stuff coming your way after that.
So I really think that if they would have held off and just released Blue Beetle, then it would have been awesome.
Right. I've been waiting for for more information on the animated Blue Beetle since he was going to voice the character there. And, we talked about the movie basically being just set in a DC universe. It does not define what DC universe it was. So, and honestly, it fits more with what we have now.
And that's why I want to go back and watch it a little bit more with a keen eye and see if there's anything. I don't know. I'm really busy this weekend, but I don't know. Maybe like me and Solomon busted out. Speaking of casting, I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce the last name correct, but I'm going to go for it. Jimmy Tatro will officially star as Gorilla Grodd in the Jimmy Olsen series. The series is described as a true crime documentary series set in the DC universe with Jimmy Olsen hosting. Jimmy Tatro, I only know him from two things. I know him from the movie I watched called something Mike, and it was on Hulu. It has James Marsden and Vince Vaughn. It came out this year.
Oh yeah, that I haven't watched it yet, but I know what you're talking about. It's like repeating a couple of names. It's like four different names or something. That's the name of the movie.
Like blank and blank and
blank and blank. Something like that.
See, that's why it's why I'm just like, it's called Mike and Nick and Alice. And then, of course, if you've seen Scream 7, he's the boyfriend in the opening scene when they go to the Mocker house.
Yes. The first thing I saw him on actually was the short show that only lasted, I think, 2 seasons, Home Economics. He was Topher Grace's brother in that show. It was pretty funny. That was a good show.
Oh, wait. I remember seeing an episode of that. I just didn't... I didn't watch it enough to remember anything. And then we'll get a little comic news before the big thing. It says the hunt continues. Absolute Green Arrow has now extended to 12 issues. So if you're digging Absolute Green Arrow, you'll now get 12 issues. Have you read any Absolute Green Arrow yet?
No, I have not.
There are 2 issues on the app. I've
Okay.
read them both.
That's not too bad.
I'm intrigued by it. I basically just carve out my Wednesday night is to lay in bed and read everything. Like Wednesday and Thursday night is like I read everything that dropped on Ultra, and then the rest of the nights is the stuff I want to read too.
Nice.
But yeah, that's how it is, and I'm pretty much.
I would like to be able to adapt that.
It's a good model. It's a good model. And then of course yesterday we got the first teaser camera test, however you want to put it, for the Batman Part 2. With now releasing February 18th, 2028.
Ugh. My God.
Can we talk about this for a second?
How damn far? He's going to be 40. Robert Pattinson's going to be 42 when that freaking movie comes out. And Ben Affleck was 43.
When BVS came out.
Yeah.
And Robert Pattinson's supposed to be the younger Batman.
Right?
Robert Pattinson's only 6 months younger than me. And I thought he was a little bit younger, but no, I looked it up because I was curious. I'm just like, holy crap, dude. Like, and I got thinking about it. Like, originally the Batman was supposed to be out in like 2020 or early 2021, but then it was October of 2021. And we were like, yeah, Batman movie in October, Halloween. And then it was like March of 2022.
Right.
Right? It was March, wasn't it? Yeah. Or late February.
believe-
It was March. It was like March. That feels right. And then we get the Batman Part 2. It's going to be like October 1st. Then October 2nd. And I was like, okay, Virginia's birthday. And now it's February, right after my birthday in 2028.
Yep, March 4th.
So that's 6 years. Okay. Solomon was 7 years old when we took him to see The Batman. He'll be 13 when we go see The Batman Part 2.
Yeah, that's when you put it in those terms, like, holy crap.
That's the best way to do it because you see it before your eyes of time.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm just like, dear God. James Gunn put a post, and this I have to agree with him, where he tried to be like, it's not that uncanny for sequels to take this time. Bullshit, James. Okay, sorry. I'll edit that if I remember to. But most movies have, 2 to 3 year turnaround time? I mean, you're making Man of Tomorrow right now on a 2-year turnaround time. Okay? And all the examples that he gave for long sequels, I'm like, I can argue against every one of those. Because most of those were not designed to be franchises or sequels or cash grabs.
A lot, yeah. There are a number of movies out there that were meant to be one-off that actually ended up spawning a franchise.
Yeah, and when you hire Matt,
sequel was a much different movie, but it was still a great movie, and it even further spawned the franchise. You know?
Exactly. And when you hire Matt Reeves and you talk to it, and the whole talk is about a new Batman trilogy, he's making a Batman trilogy, so you're already talking 3 movies, and you're getting 6 years between your first one and your second one. Your audience has grown up and changed by the time your second one comes out. You know?
Right.
So it's pretty crazy to me because, like, we even talked about, like, Christopher Nolan, between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight was 3 years, but he made The Prestige in between those, which is my favorite Nolan film. And then between The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises was 4 years, and he made Inception between those.
Inception in between there, yeah.
Okay. What has Matt Reeves made between these two movies? Nothing.
Nope. He had a hand in the Penguin.
Yeah, he had a hand as an executive producer and stuff like that. But like, as far as actually making a film, he's been working on this sequel. And for the life of me, I can't believe that you went in to make a movie where you have elements, but you didn't have a sequel in mind. Now, they've said that some of the elements for the sequel were used in the Penguin, but you as Matt Reeves would have to agree to that. Like, hey, you wouldn't be like, don't take my sequel idea, right? So either he's going to come out with like the greatest Batman movie ever, or we're just going to be like, eh. Or he's going to be smart and make the Batman Part 2 and Part 3 almost back to back. Because it's going to be pretty ridiculous if we have to wait almost another decade. I mean, 6 years, okay? Do you know what happened between 1997 and 2005? How many years is that, James? Do some quick math.
That's 8 years.
So that's 8 years. And you know what happened between those 8 years? We went from Batman and Robin to Batman Begins. We completely changed the landscape. And in 6 years, you're going to try to give me the sequel? Like, I mean, I'm excited for it, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to get to the point where I just don't care anymore. Because, like, I really like the Batman. It's not perfect. There's parts I think you could cut that are slow. And then I think there's parts where he's trying to ape Nolan. But there's things I really like in it. But if you're going to give me this long a time, like, I almost don't care. Like, it's just too long. It's almost just too much. I'm too old, man. Okay?
You're too old. He's like, I can't wait this long in between sequels.
I want to see it, like, before I'm dead. You know?
Right.
And
well, especially trying to round out a trilogy, if that's the case, you know?
And I mean, yeah, exactly.
We're going to be retired by the time the Batman Part 3 comes out.
Right. We'll be in a nursing home together.
Still doing Supernatural Report.
Yeah, that's when we'll really
probably that on a weekly basis, though, because what else are we going to do?
Yeah. We'll just watch it, review it, and then watch Bubba Hotep.
Right.
The other thing. Oh man. The other thing with it is today it came out, like, it's only 6 more months, right? Okay. Which, granted, is okay. I mean, it happens. Like when Man of Steel got pushed from December 2012 to June of 13. It was 6 months, 5 months, whatever, depending on the dates. Okay, you know, rumor is now it was moved because of a J.J. Abrams movie that's coming out now in October. I don't know if that's what I believe, or if I believe more the fact that it's because DC Studios doesn't have anything lined up for 2028. Even though this isn't in the universe, technically it should be the first Elseworlds film under that banner, if they actually ever do that. But they don't have any movie announced.
It'll be the first Elseworlds in 5 years from the announcement of the Elseworlds.
You know what I'm saying? So, and because I mean, everything now is under the DC Studios banner, like we've seen this season with My Adventures with Superman, and we'll probably see it with Cape Crusader season 2. So we don't have anything else lined up film-wise after Man of Tomorrow. There's rumor projects and things that are supposed to be happening, but we really don't have anything concrete. So what I'm feeling is maybe they pulled so that Warner Brothers / DC Studios has a big project hit for 2028.
Right.
Which sucks because now I have to go. Now I have to go and re-edit.
It's got you going.
Matt Reeves. 29-minute mark. Matt Reeves has got me going, guys. But that's all the news that I have, and everything. So we hopefully will get going. But it is a new month, yay! And we've kind of changed things up. But usually every month at the start, we kick off with a new Supergirl story, basically. And today we are jumping into Rebirth. Now, Rebirth is really interesting. Rebirth is technically falls under what's considered Volume 7 of Supergirl, which started in 2016 to 2020. What I found fascinating, and I told this to James, was so Volume 7, Rebirth, runs from 2016 to 2020. Volume 8 does not start till 2025. Part of the reason why Woman of Tomorrow, I think, is such a standout is it's the only Supergirl title that was a standard comic that was Supergirl from 2021 to 2022. Other than that book, from the end of 2020 until now, 2025, Supergirl only appeared in other books. She did not have her own title. So, just a kind of a summary. Supergirl series kicked off, was written by Steve Orlando and incorporated elements of the Supergirl television series, beginning in November. The series took a 3-month hiatus in 2018 and resumed in August with number 21, with a new creative team of Mark Andreyko and Kevin Maguire. Starting with issue 37 in December of 2019, Jody Hauser and artist Rachel Stott helmed the series until cancellation in June at issue 42. So I read this series and everything. Just as an overarching story, James, how do you feel about the Supergirl Rebirth books?
So I read some of these at the time. So just getting back into this. I read the first volume. I've read the volume, the Killers of Krypton, but that actually took place afterwards. That was farther down in the line, when the new team, that was even Jurgens was writing at that point for a little bit. And then, at the time I was reading the Dark Knights stuff where we had the infections. But I, during reading at this time, it was very, it seemed very heavily inspired by the Supergirl series.
Yeah.
At least in a certain way,
I want to throw out there, this is pre-app because I wanted to read this title more. But I just couldn't really afford to because I was already buying so many books.
Yeah. This, at that time with the Killers of Krypton, that was during the friggin' Rogel Czar days. Brian Michael Bendis.
Who was just recently here in Ohio last weekend. He was in Cleveland for a thing by the Schuster Society. And
that's cool.
Him and Philip Kennedy Johnson. And I wanted to go, but I learned too late and I was too busy and couldn't go. Because I wanted to be like, why did you age up John?
You yell at him.
So, some notes here that I got, we'll talk about it, is first, all the Rebirth titles, if you remember, had like a one-shot issue that was just called Rebirth.
Yeah.
And then it did, it started the actual series. And the one-shot issue, this picks up right where the New 52 ended. awkwardly because it talks about her losing her powers and how she came to the DEO to help find the powers. If we remember at the end of the New 52, she had like cut her finger or whatever and was like, I don't have my powers. And she was like working at the coffee shop. And this picks up where she had lost her powers and we were introduced to the DEO and the DEO agents of the Danvers. And that's really where we start to kind of get into similar to the show where we have the Danvers and she's picked up and everything, but there's not an extensive, like there's no win, there's any of that, but she does go and has an internship at Catco with another character. And that Catco thing kind of goes nowhere, really. And this is another example of them trying to realign with whatever the other media was going on. But what I will say is,
do you remember that time when when comics had to reflect what was on the screen?
Yeah, and it never worked.
Yeah.
Now, I will say her symbol on her chest did retain more of her New 52 look, where she did kind of have her own design and symbol. It wasn't exactly the same as Clark's. The first arc is about her dealing with Cyborg Superman, her father, and learning that her father is the Cyborg Superman.
Yes.
That's the first issue arc, the first 6. And then the 7th is the Werewolves of Krypton, which was kind of cool. Could have been better, but it was cool. And then issue 7 is noted because it ties in right before Superman Reborn, which we know was a really big event for us, and how the Rebirth area kind of reshifted because of everything. Let's see. But the one thing is, they talk about the events of the New 52 only lasted a few months. Because they say, oh, you've only been here for a few months. And in here, like, she talks about picking up English better, but having kind of an accent. But I will praise the book at the beginning because the way they draw her and everything, the way the art is, it makes her feel like a teenager. It makes her feel like she's like 16 years old.
Definitely makes her feel younger, look younger.
And that goes until issue 6. And then when the artist comes back for a few issues, it feels that way. But when they officially change artists, it goes out the window and she starts to feel more older again. And I think I really liked the art that was done, because I really liked her feeling like a younger teenager. And I liked in the Rebirth how they would say Rebirth at the top, it would have the number, and then for like example, number 8 of the issues was Family of Tomorrow, and that's where it tied in with Superman Reborn. And then it was Escape from the Phantom Zone Part 1, Escape from the Phantom Zone Part 2, Escape from the Phantom Zone Part 3, and Part 4. And I liked how they did that in the Rebirth, like, so you could kind of see what books tied together. And she meets Batgirl, and Batgirl's now the Burnside style and era, and they fight Magog and Zadu, however you want to say it. But one of them I did want to point out is Mr. Oz shows up and basically kills the floating in a tube healing Zor-El.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Gets rid of that version of Cyborg Superman then, huh?
The brother kills his brother. We have evil Jor-El, because we all know that that's who Mr. Oz was.
Which was a terrible choice. Terrible
I
turn.
So I read, and I've been searching for proof on this, that one of the first ideas for Mr. Oz was going to be that it was actually like an alternate version or something, and it was going to be John Kent or Jonathan Kent. That's why he called himself Mr. Oz, because he wasn't in Candace's anymore. So it was a throwback to the Wizard of Oz
To the
type
Wizard
thing.
of Oz, yeah.
So the New 52 basically ends up making an evil version of Jor-El and Zor-El into Rebirth. So I don't know how much you were thinking on that one. You know, like, I don't need them to be evil. It's pretty messed up. That's all I'm going to say. And then we continue the Rebirth moniker up until issue 15. But what's interesting is issue 15 and issue 16 are both a 1-2-parter involving Strange Visitor. But like it says, Plain Sight Part 1 is issue 15. Then when you go to issue 16, the Rebirth has been dropped. It doesn't say Plain Sight Part 2 or any. It just now says DC Universe Supergirl. And
Does it at least say, like, Part 2 is such and such book?
I mean, inside.
You could go find it.
But like inside, but I'm just talking about like the covers and everything. And so I really feel that the book loses its way once it drops the Rebirth. Nothing against the writers, but I mean, once this arc concludes, the Plain Sight with Strange Visitor, because once that concludes, I really feel like that's where we're starting to get lost. Which is at the end of the Orlando run, basically, which is issue 20. When Steve Orlando departs the book, that's when I feel that it's lost its way. We get the DEO changes. We get Mr. Bones comes in as the head of the DEO, and the Danvers basically go away. And like I said, the Catco thing just fades away. They just they're done with that. Like, yeah, whatever. But
all right, DC Universe came around, and well, they brought on Bendis to do his Superman thing with Superman and Action, and basically Supergirl had to align with that too, no matter what was going on within her book.
So, and that's what I was about to say. Issue 20, issue 21 really starts the new team, which is the Killers of Krypton, which picks up the Rogol Zar story, and it completely changes the book. We have her eventually in this whole thing is her. There's no Kandor because Rogol Zar destroyed it, but she's versus the Green Lanterns. Crypto does show up. And we basically go through almost it's like what, 9 issues, I think. It's like up to issue 30 is basically where eventually issue 29 kind of up to all that is like the end of the Rogol Zar story, where she goes through a bunch of different things with the Omega Men and she has to fight off the Green Lantern Corps. Issue 30 is where we have Superman and John and her take down Zar. 31 is the villain tie-in with Superman and the Eyes of the Galaxy Upon Them. It's like a 2-part where one part was in Superman and one part was in Supergirl. And then eventually we kind of take a side there, but eventually the Rogol Zar everything ends in issue 33. because it kind of departs for a bit, but then it visually ends in 33 because we cross over with Action Comics and Bendis's run. So think about that. We start kind of this Killers of Krypton with issue 21 and end in 33. It just kind of feels like this could have been condensed because this is where we have the Year of the Villain stuff, and it just gets sloppy.
Well, I'm pretty sure we were talking about how sloppy this kind of all was at the time, how much things seemed to be disconnected from just the issues shortly before that. The way that everything had to line up with Bendis, but then also had to line up with this Year of the Villain that was going on. Like, everything seemed very disconnected at the time.
And that's what I'm saying. This run is great up until issue 20. Starting with 21, it's now aligning with the DC Universe with Bendis, with the Year of the Villain. And, we talked about before how we have this big Rogolzar stuff in Superman, but then it just kind of fades away and all it gets finished up in Supergirl, almost as if it didn't matter. And I eventually figured out Rogolzar is if you took one part Doomsday, one part Lobo with one part of Resident Evil's Nemesis, and you get Rogolzar.
That's funny. You can picture it, though. Can see it.
Yeah, I mean, just look at him. You'll be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Issue 35 is when we get the whole Leviathan thing that just did not pay off and was just pointless.
Oh, man. Yeah, that did not pay off.
And then we get into The Infected with The Man Who Laughs. And issue 36 to issue 41 is basically her dealing with being infected and trying to get over that, and what she's dealing with the Batarang and everything. It's got some great art and stuff in it, like when she flies in the sun to burn the infection. And then the last issue, 42, was not bad at all.
But from issue 42, do you see that being Supergirl who is out drinking on red planets next?
Well, here I will give you this. Deemed a threat by the U.S. military, Supergirl is now a wanted villain. General Corvid, which is a horrible name when you think about we just came out of COVID. We're in COVID at the time, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Has come for our hero, and she won't give up until Kara is gone for good. Meanwhile, the superstorm rages stronger than ever, while hundreds remain helpless against it. Can Supergirl prove that she's the hero that people once believed her to be, or will she let everyone down, including herself? Find out in the pulse-pounding series conclusion. Now, I'm going to open the book. Okay, I'm going to go to... We see Crypto in it and everything. We see a version of Cyborg Superman. We see, like, Rogolzar shows up, Bones shows up, but it's more like what she's seeing inside herself kind of thing. And I want to get to the end of this. I think I read this, but it just didn't stay with me. But I do love the art, though.
Looks as though a lot of the villains from her run here are coming back in this.
Yeah. And so the last page, I'm going to read it here. It says, it's all narration. It says, maybe I don't belong on Earth. I didn't choose to come here, but I chose to stay. And maybe that's enough. I don't want to pretend to be something I'm not. Trying to live a human life isn't why I'm here, and I don't want to forget where I come from, what happened to my world. Krypton reminds me how much better the world can be. Maybe someday Earth will feel like home. Maybe it'll be a better that way. But for now, I have work to do. And it's like her and Crypto flying off. So I could see where maybe you can make an argument she flies off, and you kind of one of those squint and it works. She goes on the Woman of Tomorrow mission.
Right. Well,
And
it
then
seems
my
there at the end she's dealing with a lot of her inner demons, as it were. So I think, I
but
guess that's
what's
still.
but what's crazy is they take her from being this teenage girl in high school and dealing everything and having a life and trying to work this internship to basically making her feel like she's aged up, no longer a teenager, out in space, completely ditches her family on Earth, ditches the Danvers, ditches school and everything, and just goes up into space away. And it just feels so departed from the character that we started with. So I definitely recommend the Orlando run of this, and then after that, you can just drop off.
Yeah, it's tough to see when the character gets past some of her past tragedy, the loss of her family, the loss of Krypton, the loss of Argo, having to fight her cyborg mother and father, um, and then even going so far as to finding out what happened to Krypton in the killers of Krypton, and that being some sort of like cabal of like the Illuminati of space, um, it was every time she kind of grows up and gets past her tragedy, they're like, well, what are we supposed to do with her? Oh, let's do it again. She's sad about Krypton being gone. Like, come on, guys. She's always going to be sad about Krypton being gone. That's never going to change. But her life will, and her attitude will.
I've become a bigger fan of Supergirl this year because I've sat down and really read her books. I mean, gosh, the amount of Supergirl I have read is ridiculously awesome. I mean, I've read from when she was reintroduced by Jeff Loeb to current, and we've done some reading in the past. I didn't read all the Silver Age stuff because you read some of it and I read some of it and we talked about it together.
Still a lot of issues though.
Yes.
One.
And we still have some other specialties type stuff to read as the year continues. And I just feel like I've become so much more of a fan of this character and what she represents and the power that she represents. And that's part of why, that's why I said I was really bummed that they took out her in the film not being born on Krypton. Because if we look at the comic book Supergirl, the fact that she's growing up on Krypton and Brainiac attacks and she lives through that. And then her plane explodes and her dad saves her and they're on Argo City and she watches her planet destroy. And then she lives as Argo City slowly destroys itself, and everyone dies there. Like the layers of tragedy and stuff that she goes through is intense, and they took some of that away from her. So yeah.
Yeah, that is that's an awesome story, the way that they it does truncate the time, and some of her experiences. I don't know. I don't necessarily. I like it, of course. I mean, but the way, and I'm kind of fine with the idea because I mean, even if she is born on Argo, it is essentially Krypton, and their life and their beliefs and their society is still living on for a period of time. So I mean, it's not a deal breaker by any means of her being born on Argo. I mean, that's how they actually even did it back in the Silver Age when we read that.
Yep.
Is she was born on Argo. So it's not like they bastardized it horribly, you know, in that regard. I do think that either way, it's incredibly tragic for her to lose so much. But yeah, I mean, with both of us being a fan of Unbound and that story, the Brainiac story there, with her having that connection to seeing Brainiac take Kandor when she was younger, I mean, it does make that a more powerful story.
Yes, it does.
So, but I don't think we're certainly not going to get that specific tie with Man of Tomorrow.
Nope.
If Brainiac's being the villain in that.
Yeah, and that really kind of bums me out. But that is a conversation for another day. But I really think Supergirl's got and I hate that the movie's not doing well, but I'm still sitting there thinking, like, I think this short runtime that they're doing is a forced shorter runtime, and it's not helping the films.
Yeah.
Because what would it look like to do another, instead of it feeling so quick, what would it look like to have another 20 or 30 minutes in the Supergirl movie and make it...
It could even just deal with like 11 minutes, you know? 11 to 15.
Mm-hmm.
I think just enough to have some character moments, to
Let
have
some things breathe.
Mm-hmm. It is cut very tight.
And I'm like, I don't understand it, especially if you're not releasing anything like what do you call it? You're not releasing like an extended version or anything like that. You're just, really killing your movie. But
so I mean, I don't think it it killed the movie by any means. It's not 30 minutes out of BVS. You know, that really,
when everything's tight storytelling. And I think that's the thing is, what do you want in your storytelling? Because if you wanted to move fast and quick, I get it. Then you write and make the movie to be made like that. But you can tell that there's some scenes that were truncated and cut down to be more montages, and some scenes were blink and you miss it scenes. And I really wish they weren't.
Yeah.
I wish some of the scenes had kind of played out like we talked about before. But I don't know. It's the summer of Supergirl, but here, by the time people hear this episode and the next episode drops after this, see, this episode will drop, and then...
Well, hopefully by then people will be renting Supergirl at home.
But I'll say this episode will drop, and we will have another one, and then it's because it's on a Monday. The 28th, we had talked about this last time, is supposed to be the release date for the digital copy of Supergirl. And I'm tempted for you and I to go ahead and do a commentary on it. Like, do a early commentary just because we have thoughts and it's so new. And still go back and do our 1 year later look back. But just kind of, since we haven't gotten a chance to go see it together and just, watch it together now and kind of talk about some of the stuff right now and go from there.
That could be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, people? What do you think? Should we go ahead and we wouldn't do it live or like a watch along. It really would just be you and me watching and commentating. we'll throw Salem and Solomon on there because I make them do everything. No, I don't. They just
They like to watch the movies with you.
Yeah, they like to do it. So, all right. Well, if you have any questions or anything, drop us a line. Find us on our socials. Like I said, sign up for our Patreon. It's $1, or just sign up for the free stuff. We do a newsletter. We'll post episode stuff on there. We'll post extra episodes. Sometimes I drop free things on there. Our friend Emily, to her whole thoughts on Woman of Tomorrow and how she was feeling with the book after I gave her a copy. So it can be fun. And, we appreciate anyone who signs up because it's just $1 a month. And that helps us to keep this going. Been at it 11 years, guys. 11 years. James and I have been doing this together for 10. And
nuts.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So remember,
Look up in the sky!
thank you for checking out the Krypton Report. Please click our link tree in the show notes to follow us on your favorite social media platform. We have a $1 Patreon, just $1 a month to keep us going. And in return, you get exclusive shows and specials. If you want to join us on an episode, send us an email or a message.
Hi, this is David Patrick Wilson. I played Superman, Clark Kent, in the television production of It's a Bird, It's a Plane, enjoying every minute of being right here on the Krypton Report.